Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. Today we're talking about debt. We're talking about financing. My guest is Ann Hambly. She's CEO of First Service Solutions. They are a CMBS borrower advocate. And I think sometimes people get a little frustrated when they have a CMBS loan and they just don't really know who to talk to, who's in charge, who's making these decisions. What's your advice for us?
Well, that's because the reason people often don't know where to go is they've been making all their payments on time and performed well over the last 9 or 10 years on their loan. And when they're performing well, they deal with their master servicer. So let's say they're making their payments to Wells Fargo Bank. They, as an owner, tend to think that I pick up the phone and call Wells Fargo Bank and they'll be able to do something for me, maybe extend the loan a little bit, maybe waive a part of the payoff or whatever it might be, help them with a short. And a master servicer has no authority to do anything other than take your full payoff and maybe offer you a 30 or 60-day window to pay the loan off. But in essence, if you're highly or over leveraged, the master servicer can't do anything for you. So the loan has to get transferred to the special servicer. And there was a time when you would tend to think the special servicer is really the one in charge. And these days, the special servicer is not generally affiliated with the ultimate decision maker, which is the controlling class bond representative or the lowest level bondholder at that time in a pool. So it's really sometimes difficult to find the real owner, find the real decision maker if you're an owner. So that's part of what an advocate can kind of help you do for one.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I think some borrowers are frustrated because they don't understand that, why they're not getting good responses that seem logical request, and they're not getting heard. So how are these decisions made? Who makes the decisions on these kind of borrower issues?
Well, ultimately, again, it's the controlling class representative, and the dynamics have changed quite a bit today on these 2006 and 7 originated loans that are now, almost 10 years old. The controlling class representative often is in a very senior bond position. Losses have gone for a lot of the pools. They've gone through the non-investment grade bonds. They're in investment grade, and in some cases, they're up to an A-level, originally A-level rated bond. So decisions are made often more today based on what will happen to the remaining bondholders than anything else, and it's so different for an owner to have to think about those issues. They're thinking about their property, their loan, how to get their loan paid off, and quite honestly, the bond structure is the last thing that owner considers. But that's really the decision maker.
Right, and that's important so you know how they're going to make these decisions. And one of the things that we've come up against when we're helping people in troubled loans or upside down on a property and they have a bank loan is we are interviewing them and saying, hey, are you trying to get out of the trap? Or are you also trying to get some cheese? When they're dealing with a bank loan and they're upside down, the banks and their regulators don't like to see them get a dime. But we realize when we're dealing with CMBS loans, that might be a little different. And tell the borrowers an example. I'm not borrowers, yes, borrowers and listeners and viewers, an example of where a CMBS borrower that was upside down did get some cheese, did get some money out of a deal.
Well, this is where, again, you have to consider that the special servicer and the controlling class representative, their focus is on the bondholders. And these are non-recourse loans for them, almost always. So their objective, the special servicer and the controlling class representative's objective, is to get the most amount of money for the bondholders as possible. So let's take a property, and this was a live example, where it's completely over leveraged. So the value of the property significantly less than the debt. The options available to the CCR or the special servicer was to take over that property, foreclose on the borrower, and turn around and sell that property in the open market and net X, right? Or in this case, the borrower offered them a number that was X plus something. And the borrower actually was able to sell the property to a third party, so it was actually a sale. And the difference between the actual amount we settled with the special servicer on and the sales price was allowed for there to be a slice of cheese or two in the owner's pocket. So it's not, no, it doesn't seem right, and it doesn't feel right, I guess, on the surface, but it was the right thing there for that pool of bonds, because they got more than they would have ever gotten had the special servicer foreclosed and taken over the property. So it's really a whole different set of dynamics in a CMBS deal than a bank deal.
Yeah, it really is. And so we're short on the break, but give us an idea of how big you've seen that cheese be for some upside down borrowers who settled a short sale, or I guess you wouldn't call it a short sale, negotiated payoff on a CMBS loan.
Well, yeah, it's not called a short sale, but it works just like one. And in this case, the amount of cheese that went in their pocket was about $15 million on a $40 million loan.
That's a nice slice of cheese right there. And I think some borrowers, listeners, and viewers would think that, yeah, it's not right, but you got to go through the right process to do it. And, I think it's important that you get I think all of us entrepreneurs, all of us real estate people, we think we're so experienced and we know everything. And I've been in it for 35 years, and I realize there's experts in what they do, like what you do, Ann. And when we have a situation with a restructuring of CMBS, it's really a good idea to get to an advocate like Ann that can help you do it. And I've got some more questions for Ann. One of the things to help you with CMBS is to invest with someone who is upside down on a CMBS loan. We'll get some tips for investors right after this short message. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. Stay with us. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty, Asset and Occupancy Solutions. Xceligent, building data everywhere. CCIM Institute, the industry's global standard for professional achievement. Valuate, easily share what-if analysis with colleagues online. And First Service Solutions, your CMBS borrower advocate. For more information on how these businesses may be of service to you, visit creshow.com.